The Full Melt Show is intended for a mature audience. It contains adult themes, adult content, and sometimes adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
It's the Full Melt Show.
Full Melt. Federalism is an issue that's near and dear to many of us, and I know it's important to you. The notion that our federal government possesses powers that James Madison described as few and defined, and those reserved to the states are numerous and indefinite. We were supposed to be a different legislative body. Our federal government was always intended as a limited purpose national government, not a general purpose national government, one possessing complete police powers. We've seen a slow but steady drift over the last 80 years away from this principle of federalism, such that powers exercised at the federal level today could no longer be described as few and defined, but more appropriately described as numerous and indefinite. And in light of the supremacy clause in the Constitution, any powers we do exercise through the federal government are by definition replaced from the states. In other words, when our action conflicts with state action, it's our action that prevails in light of the supremacy clause. It's one of the reasons why federalism needs to be looked out for so carefully. One of the reasons why a view that I think you and I both share is that U.S. government officials in all three branches of government, whether they wear a black robe or not, are expected when they swear an oath to uphold the Constitution to look out for basic structural protections in the Constitution like federalism, so that we don't have an excessive accumulation of power in the hands of the few. So the Founding Fathers set up this system in which we have these structural protections. We have the vertical protection we call federalism, which we've just described, and the horizontal protection we call separation of powers. It says within the federal government, in order to protect us against the risks associated with the excessive accumulation of power in the hands of the few, we're going to have one branch that makes the laws, another branch that enforces the laws, and a third branch that interprets the laws. As long as we keep each branch within the same lane, the people are protected from what happens when one person or a group of people gets too powerful. But over the last 80 years, just as we've seen a deterioration of federalism, we've also seen a deterioration of separation of powers. You have an interesting set of circumstances with our laws, our controlled substances laws concerning marijuana, in that for the first time in a very long time, you've seen some attention paid to federalism, but in the limited area associated with marijuana. In other words, there are federal laws prohibiting the use of marijuana, the sale of marijuana, the production of marijuana, that apply regardless of whether a state has independently criminalized that drug, as every state until recently had. Then you had some states coming along and decriminalizing it, sometimes in the medical context, other times in a broader context. The response by the Department of Justice during the Obama administration has been interesting, and it's been different than it has in other areas. They've been slow to recognize principles of federalism elsewhere. They chose to recognize it here. My question to you is, did the way they respond to that federalism concern run afoul of separation of powers? Did the department's approach to this issue that they identified as a federalism issue contravene the understanding that we are the lawmaking body, the executive branch is the law enforcing body?
Well, I'm not sure I fully understand the point of your question, but you're talking about separation of powers within the federal government, the three branches of federal government.
Yes.
And how does that implicate the marijuana laws?
Yes. Are there separation of powers concerns arising out of the Department of Justice's current approach to state marijuana laws?
Well, I think one obvious concern is that the United States Congress has made the possession of marijuana in every state and distribution of it an illegal act. So if that something is not desired any longer, Congress should pass a law to change the rule. It's not so much the Attorney General's job to decide what laws to enforce. We should do our job and enforce laws effectively as we're able.
Thank you.
Are you high? What are you talking about?
It's the Full Melt Show, a marijuana discussion about news, culture, and entertainment. TheFullMelt.com. It's your backyard. It's celebrity interviews, talks with politicos. Plus, your calls are on the air. Download the Full Melt app, free at the Apple and Android app stores. With your host, Steve Green, The Full Melt Show.
Hey, we're back in studio. Feel a little bit normal today. Yesterday, out doing a test run for something happening this Friday. Into that in just a minute. You don't want to miss out on what's going on this Friday. With me on the show, as always, is the lovely Wendy. Hello, Wendy. Are you there?
I'm here. Hi, guys.
By phone again. You didn't. We need to get you in the studio some days, Wendy. It'd be a lot of fun to get you in the studio.
You're gonna have to lure me in with the right thing.
Well, you know what would the right thing be? That's gotta know what the right thing is.
I have to negotiate that in my contract.
There's a contract now? I didn't get that memo. Maybe I should get that memo. I don't know. So
coming from HR.
HR. Is there an HR? Oh, Henry Reed. Oh, I shouldn't have said his name. Damn it. Anyway, so we're going on kind of blind today out of that show. When we did the thing yesterday out at the place we were at, which is Vehicle City in Flint. It is in Flint, right? We determined that?
It is.
Today, the hot news, Jeff Sessions in Congress. Like I said, we'll get to the details about what's going on in Flint on Friday a little bit later. For the locals, for the local crowd. It'll be fun for the local crowd. I think it'll be fun for the broadcast crowd, too. It doesn't matter where you're listening from on Friday. I think you'll have fun listening to the show. Do you have fun listening to the show or no, Wendy? Is it?
I have fun. I go back and listen and laugh, but sometimes I'm easily amused, so I can't speak for everyone.
You're easily amused? Is that what you're...
Yeah.
All right, so now I had to turn some things down here. Hold on. Get a little phone feedback.
I hear a lot of feedback and
little phone feedback.
Nastiness.
So the big news with Jeff Sessions today. You know who Jeff Sessions is, right?
Unfortunately, I do.
He is the guy tapped by the future president-elect. I guess that's a double. That's a double positive, isn't it? Future president-elect. I don't know. Future. It's
all negative to me. It's all negative to me.
Double negative.
It's awful.
He's tapped Jeff Sessions, current senator of Alabama, or senator from Bama, like America, to be the attorney general. That would be the top law enforcement officer in the land. Isn't that how they label him?
Yes.
Yes.
He's a reject.
And Jeff Sessions right there clearly said, and I warned everybody about this, like you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and that's one old Senate dog right there. Jeff Sessions been around. He was one of the guys that was supposed to get drained out of the swamp. I don't know how he's getting promoted to attorney general. But he said right there in black and white, or at least in audio, he intends to enforce marijuana laws, not the Cole memo. Go figure.
You're getting the Full Melt.
Your pets aren't just animals, they're members of your family. That's why we are excitedly wagging our tail about our hemp-based product that caters specifically to your best friend. Hemp oil drops are great for aging as well as active dogs and cats, and really all kinds of pets. Hemp well drops are made from virgin, cold-pressed organic hemp oil. Our extraction process ensures the highest quality oil for your pet, with superior taste, smell, and nutrition. We hold ourselves to the highest standards, never using heat, chemicals, or preservatives in making our hemp oil products for pets. Pick up a bottle of Hempwell drops today at select retailers or online at hempwell.com. Hempwell. Hemp health for pets.
If you missed the last Full Melt show,
you missed a lot.
There's King Tut. You know why I wanted to bring up King Tut? But they actually dug up in Russia some ancient bongs. They're like 2,400 years old.
Yes, that's fucking awesome.
They're golden.
Oh, my God. 2
ancient golden bongs found in the Arctic tundra of Russia.
They were getting high, man. Yeah.
And I guess they traced it back to the early tribes that populated, the Russian tundra. Those tribes used to war against each other, and they would get high on the opium and the cannabis before going to war. Go figure. I'm just saying, there's somebody was selling golden bonds. And get your golden bonds here, golden bonds. It had to be really hard back in those days to come up with gold, except for maybe Colombian gold.
Oh, my God.
Hey, the trade winds are blowing smoke in your face.
Imagine a world where patients can use marijuana like any other medicine. The Marijuana Patients Organization challenges the status quo by helping our neighbors to enjoy a better quality of life. Visit the MPO at marijuanapatients.org and enjoy informative articles, engaging debates, and information about treatments, doctors, and dispensaries in your area. Over 50,000 people have registered at marijuanapatients.org since 2010. Join us at the Marijuana Patients Organization today, marijuanapatients.org.
When you need legal help, you don't want to guess at who's standing next to you in court. And when it comes to a medical marijuana defense, it's even smarter to partner with a lawyer before you need one. Based in Royal Oak, David Rudoy has a proven history of not being afraid to take your case all the way to the Supreme Court and win. Find the law offices of Rudoy Law
at RudoyLaw.com.
RudoyLaw.com is a quick reference on your rights concerning Michigan medical marijuana
and up-to-date news.
That's RUDOI Law.com. Call 248-935-9074 now and talk about your legal needs, because at RudoyLaw.com, we don't just stand up for you, we stand up with you.
Wish your skin could bounce back like it used to? Neutrogena Hydro Boost Water Gel instantly quenches skin to keep it supple and hydrated day after day. With hydrating hyaluronic acid, which retains up to 1,000 times its weight in water. This refreshing water gel plumps skin cells with intense hydration and locks it in. For supple, hydrated skin that bounces back. Hydro Boost from Neutrogena. See what's possible.
It's the Full Melt radio show.
Radio show.
All right, we're back. Back like a bad heart attack. I don't know, is it a bad heart attack? I think all heart attacks are bad heart attacks. We're doing this thing with the news, and it's really kind of irritating. It's irritating me, the stuff that's going on in the news, Wendy. Do you know why?
I'm sure you have your reasons.
I have my reasons. Well, the primary reason is juxtaposed, like mixed messages. Like, okay, so here's a good example of it. Now, this is way old news. This is 8-year-old news. But at the same time in 2008, when we, in Michigan, voted in the Michigan Medical Marijuana Act, we also hired its principal opponent, the only one that spent money, really, and rallied against this law that the people passed by voter initiative. At the same time, we hired Bill Schuette as our attorney general. Now, if that's not a mixed message from the public, I don't know what is. Like, I mean, how much more mixed of a message could the public send the government? We want you to have this law, and we want the guy that hates this law to oversee it. Doesn't that drive one loony? Isn't that like, what the hell are you talking about? It's like saying you can go to the candy store, but only after we've taken out all the sugar. I mean, what do you got left? It's a bunch of sour flavors is all it is. There's no candy left there. It's just a bunch of crap. It's coloring and flavoring that is gross without the sugar.
Well, I think we got that result because most people realized, despite whatever their party affiliations are, that they wanted to make medical marijuana a reality in Michigan. So everyone voted for that, whether they were Democrat or Republican.
We're still sending these mixed messages today as a nation. I mean, right now, as a nation, all the larger states, all the populous states, all the states that have bobbled this around and figured it out for, 20-some years now, on top of whatever the prohibition was, have decided the best way forward is to get rid of this terrible policy that's having zero effect. Because remember, folks, when you're talking about the drug war, its stated goals have never once been achieved. In fact, some of the stated goals have actually regressed. So what I'm trying to say is that back in 71, when the Controlled Substance Act went into effect, the idea was here to get these drugs off the streets and to really suppress a group of people that were using them. because they thought they had political reasons to lean against the people who were participating in that trade. And I thought they were ruining the fabric of society. And that these people, if they were allowed to vote, they would vote in people that would let this happen. And so they shouldn't be allowed to vote. We should find a way to incarcerate them and make their drugs illegal. And this was an edict we all know that we lost when we passed prohibition of alcohol back in the 20s. We lost that war willingly. We said, look, we give up. We give up on our own civil war. We got to stop this because there's so much blood in the streets that this is worse than what we were complaining about in the first place. In this situation, you've got much the same, except there's this old lesson we never learned, and now there's a new lesson that we're trying to learn. But at the same time, we're trying to elect a president that wants to tap, again, a chief principal opponent of marijuana in general on the shoulder to be the attorney general. So to me, this is in some way a bit of PTSD kicking back. Like, this already happened 8 years ago for me and the rest of us here in Michigan by passing the law here and then hiring its principal opponent. And now we're kind of doing the same thing as a nation. We're as a nation adopting marijuana both as a medical thing and as a recreational thing. And now we've got this guy up here saying today, right there in front of Congress, in front of the Senate session, that's a committee hearing to talk about whether or not we should allow this guy to confirm him as a presidential cabinet member, being the attorney general. One of the most important cabinet member positions. It's one of the most critical. Your entire presidency may lean upon that appointment, especially if the appointment stays through the term of your presidency. So we're doing the same thing, and for me, I'm having some PTSD flashback here. I hear the helicopters. I'm just saying my version of that is going on right now, because I knew this was going to happen. I mean, you're not going to see this guy turn a new leaf, and maybe this is what he's saying in front of these Senate hearings. But where is it going from there? I mean, is it going to change? Is Trump going to tell Sessions, hey, you know what? I know that Congress hasn't changed this, but business says that this is what we're doing now, and the states have decided this. And even though I don't think he, in the light of what Sessions said in front of Congress today, or at least in front of the Senate today, or in front of the nation today for that matter, I don't think that that Trump could easily tap Sessions on the shoulder and say, look, I know that the law says, and I'm not a big marijuana guy. I don't like drugs, would say Trump. But, you got to kind of let these guys do what they're doing because these states passed a law. And there's this, maybe Trump might lean on the other side for business's sake, for the economy's sake, right? He's got to look out for the economy. If you start cracking down all these guys, all this business goes away, all this picked up economy goes away, you start to have a downturn in the economy. How do you explain that downturn to all these guys you were saying you're bringing back jobs? I mean, you're going to be an unpopular president pretty quickly right off, aren't you? Economy takes a dive because you start attacking one of the principal, largest industries that's burgeoning inside your country at this moment. Do you see where I'm going?
Yeah, and I think there's a couple of things to be noted about that. First of all, the business that's booming is not all completely corporate yet. So there's a difference between corporate businesses booming and your average small businessman, which most people in cannabis are still.
No, I think I get what you're saying. I point well taken. But I think many of these smaller companies are corporations. I think the guys that make, specialized bongs, and a lot of these companies are organized as corporations.
Dixie Dewdrops or whatever.
No,
they're a corporation, but
I'm just saying.
I think there's a different corporate interest as far as what business is. Big business versus small business. There's two different things at play there.
There's an obvious difference there, but I'm saying corporate America is not just big business. There are small corporations.
Of course, and I would hope that people would not want their livelihood to go away.
I would suggest there are a lot of small corporations. I would suggest that there are more small corporations. There are more small business corporations than there are big business corporations.
But it doesn't matter how many they are when the big business has the most money. That's the problem.
I get it, but what I'm saying is when you're dependent upon new business being created to boost your economy, and you're stepping in as president, like Trump is now, despite all the controversy, all things aside, is it in your best interest? And let's just throw it out there. Trump is serving mostly all his life his best interest. I think this whole campaign was really about Trump's best interest. Those cards are yet to be turned. But I think you've got an egotistical man here. I think you've got a man that will change and bend like the breeze. If this is a guy who is focused on ratings. He's focused on audience participation and attention. He loves going out there and imitating people because he gets people to look at him. This is an egomaniac that we have as president now. And given that light, because I'm just throwing that out there as truth. I don't think you're going to get too many people that will argue against me on that point. This guy's got an ego. And with a guy that's serving an ego like that, because he's dressing it all up now, he's surrounding himself with all the things that polish ego right now. So would it be a very popular or good thing for a guy like that who's really protective of his ego, amongst all things, his reputation, his record? Would he start out his presidency by putting the kibosh on one of the biggest industries that's causing economic development to happen inside the U.S.? That's what I'm asking. You think he would?
And I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because the bigger interests are pharmaceutical and other big corporate interests that doesn't want to see medical marijuana thrive and compete with them. That would be one reason, possibly, that he's kowtowing to these bigger corporate moneyed interests. Pharmaceuticals,
if he did that, though,
if
he did that, though, even if he did that, he would be immediately putting a halt on an economy that is robust and is currently part of our gross domestic product.
Yep, not the right people are getting the money, Steve. That's the problem.
I'm just saying, if you piss those people off, if you piss that group of people off, and I'm reminding you, this is the majority of the nation. This isn't the small kittles anymore. This isn't just a few people in the corner. This is more than half the nation. And most of those people that elected him has some effect on where they're at. Their economy may be directly dependent or affected by this portion of the vastly growing economy. Would you argue with me, given the terms in the paper quoted by how much money just in taxes alone places like Colorado have made in the past couple of years?
No, and I would think that those interests would rule the day, and they would come forward and they'd be listened to. I'm just concerned that there's bigger interests that are poised to drown out the smaller people. Even though the people are growing, there's still these big interests with banking, insurance, pharmaceuticals, people who do not want marijuana to thrive.
They have been in control up until now. I mean, those are the people that proposed prohibition in the first place, and they're the ones that locked it down further under separate administrations, first under Nixon and then ramped up again under mostly Reagan. I mean, each adding new key critical components to prop this system up in an effort to make it win. But it never has. It's always failed on every stated goal. They haven't driven the price of drugs down. They haven't stopped drugs from coming into this country. They haven't driven down the use or the need for drugs or the desire for drugs, people wanting to buy them. That's the demand end. None of this has been achieved. Those are the three major goals. If you don't achieve the three major goals and you continue to spend billions of dollars all the time, every year, you're spending billions of dollars in this country on drug eradication. How much are we investing in police departments that are only working on drugs, nothing else? They're not working on solving any other violent or nonviolent crimes, just drugs.
Because they use it to bolster their budget. That's how they get all their money from forfeitures, and it's an easy way to do it. That's another reason why they don't focus on crimes they can't get money out of. But
again, if you're a guy that's looking to cut budgets, that's a great place to cut the budget, at least in the corrections department. Look, I think Obama at any moment is going to let thousands more people go. I think thousands of more commutations are on their way in the next couple days. Obama saw the light there, although I believe that it was a heavy-handed and not so even spread grab for people to get out of jail. There are a lot of people that are still in prison at the federal level who also should be out. You got other things. You got the whole reform. I didn't see a single senator asking Jeff Sessions today how he was going to help try and guide or craft the reform of our Justice Department. Because it is clearly ailing, both in ways of funding, in new ways of finding funding, because as marijuana goes away, it's one of its principal dark money places is going to disappear. And so say the courts, and so say the police. The Justice Department is going to be hurting for cash here. There are a lot of...
just go after more drug people and forget about the big corporations and the people that are really scamming people.
There are a lot of...
I guess they'll just keep preying on the same people they've always preyed upon. They'll just be more creative about it.
I just don't see that happening. I honestly don't. Given what Sessions said today, and what he actually said, if you look at it on its face, what he said was, if it's not wanted anymore, in parentheses referenced the drug war, or really parenthetically referenced the marijuana prohibition. If it's not wanted anymore, then Congress should pass a new law that takes that prohibition away. But he's saying, and I think correctly so from his, I don't know that I'd have said much different given us posed the same question the same way as this guy posed a 4-minute question, because his answer was 20 seconds long. The question was 4.5 minutes.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, a little posturing there. But this was a conservative Republican from Utah that was asking him this question, a senator, and he responds that I'm going to uphold the law. We don't get to pick and choose what laws we get to uphold. Well, I say that's poppycock. On its face, it's poppycock, because any person worth his salt in the legal arena knows that police have complete discretion on whether to charge somebody or not.
And prosecutorial discretion in following through with those charges.
Exactly. Even once a policeman's charged you. You may have been charged. The prosecutor might believe that he could get a conviction if he wanted to. Question is it worth his time? And in the public's interest, this should be considered, because this isn't the prosecutor's record we're working for here. It's the public's interest, remember? Not elected positions here. Keep the number of, keep public resources spent appropriately, because nobody's doing the weight and balance game there when they're convicting criminals. Nobody's saying how much does it cost to convict each one of these guys. Because if they did, I'll tell you what, there'd be a lot of brakes put on convictions. If they displayed up there the number of dollars you just spent every time a judge slams that hammer and says guilty and here's the punishment, there would be a lot less of that going on.
It's not how much do we spend, it's how much are the different people making off of it. Like the private prison system, they're making a lot of money, and they have the impetus and the motivation to make sure their prisons are full. In fact, it's in their contract that they have to keep them so full if they're going to take over that contract from the state. So they have the motivation to keep the prisons full, and so they don't. It makes them money. They're not motivated to reduce that population.
Well, from a government standpoint, even from any business standpoint, if you're not going to justify your current budget by spending the money that you've been budgeted, the guy at the top's going to go, look, you didn't need that much money, did you? Well, we're going to cut your budget next year by that much money. That's what all these prudent business people do. If there's money left over in the budget, we don't put it in next year's budget because you didn't need it last year. You shouldn't need it this year. Or you're going to have to justify it if you want it back. So in business, just like in government, people, when they have a budget, tend to spend it. You don't get a $1,000 advertising budget and spend $300. I mean, they don't do it that way. How do you justify the other, $700? You can't. So in order for government employees to be kept, if you want your department to remain its size, you're going to have to spend your budget this month and next month all the way through the year. Or at least by the time you catch up at the end of the year, have spent the budget you were allocated. And maybe you have a reason then to go back and ask for more. Hey, look, these guys are overwhelmed. We're spending overtime over here. We need to hire another employee to keep costs down because the overtime is more expensive than buying another employee. I mean, that's how it's done. But in this instance, there is no justification at human expense for keeping people employed. I don't care how big the unemployment lines get. It's not a good reason to put somebody in prison so you can keep an employee at work. Wrong goal, wrong answer, wrong two ends coming together. That's
tell the police union and the prison guard union that.
Well, this is another issue that I'd like to maybe expand on. I don't know. This is a long-form political question, so I don't like to do this on the show. I like to get in and out of these things. But I guess in the interest, because we got just a seconds left before the break. Look at that. There are other things at play here. Oh, I can't even get it out in the amount of time that's left before the actual break starts. So hang on to the thought. I just want to talk about a couple quick things about this particular subject as it relates to Jeff Sessions after the break. Hang on, stick with me. Wendy, we'll be right back. Hold on.
You're getting the full melt.
Your pets aren't just animals, they're members of your family. That's why we are excitedly wagging our tail about our hemp-based product that caters specifically to your best friend. Hemp oil drops are great for aging as well as active dogs and cats, and really all kinds of pets. Hemp oil drops are made from virgin, cold-pressed organic hemp oil. Our extraction process ensures the highest quality oil for your pet, with superior taste, smell, and nutrition. We hold ourselves to the highest standards, never using heat, chemicals, or preservatives in making our hemp oil products for pets. Pick up a bottle of Hempwell drops today at select retailers or online at hempwell.com. Hempwell, hemp health for pets.
Attention. Get ready to write down a very important number.
Michael does not know how to fail. Second place is loser.
If you have a medical marijuana case and need legal representation, call the best, attorney Michael Comorn.
He's very passionate in the courtroom.
Getting the best outcome requires quick legal action, and it needs to start with one call, toll-free to attorney Michael Comorn. 800-656-3557. Write it down, 800-656-3557.
Michael Comorn gave us our life back.
Attorney Michael Comorn. Vigorous criminal defense.
Play-Doh Compound can help kids practice communication skills. Start by presenting the visual of the letter or word. Then ask them to mold the Play-Doh compound into the shape of the letters. It's an effective way to foster speech and even writing.
Something happened. Well, there's not supposed to be a space there, I'll tell you that. We're back from break, Wendy. There was something happened.
I know. I don't know what happened. That was weird. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. Give me a second here because got cut off guard. I'm just looking for a place where I can see the mouse. Something weird is going on.
Yeah, the commercial break just immediately stopped.
Maybe it'll start again now. Try this. Nothing. Got nothing. I don't know. Well, let me come because I don't know what's going on now with the break. I'm just giving up on the break. There's going to be something happen while I'm talking to you that I'll have to deal with while I'm talking to you.
Also, my sound is garbled. I hear myself and it's all garbled.
Oh boy, is that a little better?
I don't care.
Is that a little better?
Let me say it again.
Is that a little better?
It's a little bit better.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had a hard time talking to you all night because I hear feedback and then you kind of pitch in and out.
All right. Well, just it's something you got to, I guess, work with for now because there's nothing I can do about it.
I'm working with it. I'm just letting you know because there's never a time for me to really say that. That sounds good.
You can say it after the show.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know. Well, it is what it is. I mean, nothing I can do about it.
It's hard to interrupt and say, Steve, we're fucking up. I can't hear you right, and I sound garbled. I mean, I don't know when's a great time to say that.
After the show or before the show. There's nothing I can do to change the garbling. Nothing I can do. So saying it's not going to help it. I don't know what's happening with the... I just got circles on the audio. Like, it's just all of a sudden out of nowhere. I'm telling you, it's the Friday the 13th thing.
It is. And AT&T service has been shitty today. Like, I can't even make phone calls and stuff. Like, we're in a solar vortex or some shit.
We started this with last night's show, which you won't find anymore. I think I deleted it. It was.
My friends were laughing about it.
We were just running test audio down.
I know. It wasn't important.
All right, let's get back to where we're at because I don't know I just don't know what happened to the... Wait a minute. The circles went away. No, the circles are still here. They're just in a different place.
It's the Olympics. Jump through the hoops and see if you get back on the radio.
Well, let me finish the thought with the circles and the Friday the 13th thing. So first off, okay. This Friday is Friday the 13th, right?
Yes.
And I hadn't stopped and considered this when I scheduled our first ever game show edition, where we're actually going to play with real contestants and real prizes. And in this game, there are several celebrity contestants. Now, that's a tall order, and it's normally something I'm like, we're going to make this work. This is going to be fun. I'm telling you it is. It's going to be a blast. No matter what else happens, it's going to be a blast. But
I think so.
When we were out there testing the audio yesterday, a couple of funny things started happening. And I was like, you know what it is? It's because we scheduled this, and I didn't think about it. We scheduled this game day, this marijuana match game is what we're going to call it, and let the cat out of the bag. We've been talking about it.
Yeah.
On Friday the 13th. And
I know. It's completely fucked up.
Well, now is it back? No, it's still got circles. There's the audio now, it's just out of weird, and I'm telling you, this is a Greg Brady spider thing. Because I said, no, we're not, Friday the 13th, bah humbug. Friday the 13th, Friday the 13th, 13th, I can't say it the Yiddish way. I don't believe in the Friday the 13th thing. I don't believe in any bad luck. I don't walk backwards under ladders. I don't throw salt over my shoulder. I don't not let a black cat walk in front of me. I got 3 of them. They walk in front of me all the time. Maybe that's the problem. So now that I've said this, it's almost like Greg Brady when he's like, bad luck, come and get me, because he got the bad luck tiki idol or whatever. There was some kind of bad luck thing that was supposed to be, they read some charm or something, and he got bad luck on him. And he's like, bad luck, whatever. And they're in Hawaii. They're like, this is the worst time to have bad luck. So this is kind of our version of that, I think. And so far, that's what's played out. Like, ever since I made that note, I noticed this, now all kinds of weird things started happening, mostly last night. Like, back to back to back to back. Just one thing after another was just not going right. And now, right in the middle...
You want to hear something spooky?
No, not yet. I'm not done. Right in the middle of the show now... Not yet. In a second, yes. Right now, the show's gone blank. Like, all right, so now I just got to look and see if it's not the computer. It's definitely the software. It just took a dump on me out of nowhere. Like, I don't even think it'll let me. I'd have to close it out or something. And then I'm afraid to open it back up again. It's got to happen though, so I'm just going to close it because if I don't think there's any way to end the show. Anyway. So listen, this is just part of that Friday the 13th thing. But getting back to the earlier idea before the break, this Jeff Sessions tie-in thing, this whole business, you've got this other thing going on, and maybe I can fix this while I play this. Maybe that's a good way out. You've got Jeff Sessions testifying, and this is what I'm talking about, mixed messages and how it drives me crazy. You've got Jeff Sessions testifying before the Senate saying, look, I think that we should uphold the federal law. Screw the states. I mean, that's basically what he said. The state, federal law is supreme. And when it comes to marijuana law, Congress has said that it's illegal to possess or distribute in any way, no matter what state you're in. And we should uphold federal law whenever we can. That's what we should do. Now, he left himself an exit there. What he might have been saying by he said when we can, Congress also passed a law that says you can't spend Justice Department dollars on, letting states do their own medical marijuana law things. Look, Congress, because they passed the law, can also, reach into the purse and tighten the purse strings so that they can enforce that law if they don't want to. Isn't that a form of congressional permission? It is.
Yes.
It clearly is. To the extent that some people have actually gone to court about this ideal. Now, you've got that going on, and then in the meanwhile, in the background, today, I don't know if did you see the episode of The Doctors today? I'm not a I'm not a TV daytime show watcher.
I cannot watch that show.
That show drives me nuts because I don't like
It's such poppycock, such dribble and crap.
Well, it's definitely housewife yoga material. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely made for middle-aged housewives, hanging out at home going, oh, this is how to stay young and healthy and fit. I mean, that's what the show's for.
And for young gay men, too.
And for young gay men. It's the lowest common denominator as corporate America for, communication sees it. Now, you've got Karen O'Keefe. Now, do you know who Karen O'Keefe is?
No, because I don't watch that damn show.
Okay, so she has a national face. She's been involved here in Michigan. I don't know, is she a Michigander?
Is she the one that got the MPP going?
Marijuana Policy Project. Yes, she's been involved with those guys. I don't think she is anymore.
Yeah, I know who she is. Yep. She's an attorney here, I think.
Yes, she's a very bright young lady. And so she made an appearance on the doctors today. You want to hear it?
Cool. Yeah, play it.
From your perspective on that, in terms of Paul saying, okay, 18% of my patients are indeed checking in because they're addicted to marijuana.
So according to the government's own data, more than half of the people that go to treatment for marijuana are there because the criminal justice system sent them there. It's not because they need help, they think they need help. Because they were coerced into treatment they don't need. So that's outrageous. You have 1 in 10 people in this country who have substance abuse disorders that aren't getting treatment they need. And you have people taking up spots who don't actually need treatment, while we've got more than 18,000 people dying every single year of prescription opiate overdoses who could use those slots.
I agree with you both. And, you know, my experience, I have seen, I grew up in the 60s and 70s. There was a lot of pot smoking out there. And I saw some people went on to other drugs. I mean, clearly, it's an individual thing. I think certain people, certain personalities
We're hardwired differently.
Right.
So
call them an addictive personality. I don't know, whatever. But they wanted that high. That high took them to a place that they wanted to explore further.
Yeah. And then if that high is because you don't like your true reality, you like the sense of a detachment from reality, that sort of happy feeling, right, of being stoned, you may then transition. It may become a gateway to something like cocaine and heroin that really detaches you from reality.
Let me ask this question to both of you, because I do agree with both of your comments. How do you know, in terms of telling someone, look, this is too much. This is, again, not that everyone's the same, but this could be a problem if you're taking it this far.
Well, the same way with alcohol. When it affects your life, when it keeps you amotivated, when you don't show up to work, when you can't be productive, when you can't think straight.
Well, but the truth is, alcohol can affect you way before then. I mean, if you're drinking 4 or 5 drinks a night, it may not affect your everyday life, but your liver is not loving life. And I think that's, with marijuana, it's so new for so many people who, they're walking into a marijuana dispensary and they're like, whoa, a lemon drop, I can have one now?
A brownie.
How do you navigate that?
It's a lot easier now that marijuana is legal in some states. The ridiculous reefer madness that we saw a part of, and people just didn't believe what they were hearing because it was over the top and not accurate. So I think you have opportunity for a lot more honest conversations about the real risks and the real benefits of marijuana. And part of a lot of these newly legal laws includes public education campaign for teenagers to tell them it's not for you, it's more dangerous for you, you shouldn't be using it. In terms of the dosing, that's something that the states are finding out as they go. In Colorado and Washington, you have limits on how big the serving size is, because at first in Colorado, people could eat a whole cookie and it had 10 serving sizes, and they got way more intoxicated
I know.
than that.
Yeah, that was a crazy time in Colorado.
But they've changed a lot, the rules since then.
I'm more encouraged by the conversation we just had than any conversation we've had about marijuana on the show all year long, because I think there's more common ground here. And I think the hard part has been for me is talking to some people. Marijuana there's no negative elements. It's just go for broke. Right. And I think we all agree anything can be risky. At the end of the day, maybe Dr. Funk put it best. If you feel like it is affecting your daily life, affecting how you live, affecting your relationships, well, that can become a problem. I want to thank both of you for joining us today.
You see where it's at. Karen O'Keefe is out there helping to spread the word in a place where even yoga-wearing, house moms who are middle-aged and, just pretty much the lowest common denominator out there that, daytime television tries to appeal to, are eager to find out about. Hello?
Can I say something?
That was what that big space was there for.
Well, I just wanted to make sure. I love what she's doing, but the most ridiculous comment they said is, I'm going to make a comment similar to it. Water, the gateway drug. Okay?
Well, yeah,
because
but she didn't say. Well, so wait a minute. Karen didn't say that though. Karen.
The doctor said that.
Yes.
The doctor said that. He said, "Oh, it's a gateway drug," and that's ridiculous because it's not. In fact, they show that alcohol is more likely to lead harder drug use. Just because you tried one drug,
I'm not trying to argue against.
I'm not trying. That one drug started that. That's ridiculous.
Well, it is ridiculous. The whole idea, the whole argument, the entire argument is ridiculous, but that's not my point. My point was...
Well, most of it was positive, but there was some that was negative, and I picked that negative out of it. I thought...
All right, so my point was that that Karen O'Keefe is out there spreading a positive message. She's out there saying good things and trying to help people understand who are probably part of the group of people that probably need to know the most, because this is hitting them as a tidal wave, whether they're familiar with it or not. They need to know this information. And so they're eager to find out. Karen's out there spreading the word. So this is what's going on in popular culture. And here in Washington, you got Jeff Sessions saying, nope, either Congress got to change the law or we're gonna stop all this, because that's what was couched behind those words that he said to this Senate subcommittee today.
Yeah, I thought it was very positive overall, but she didn't correct them on the one thing that they said that was still misleading.
You got to realize it's not a live show.
I'm just pointing that out.
It's not a live show. We don't know what she corrected because it's highly edited. It's just, this is just what they show you.
I would go back and review the tape, and I'm pretty sure she never corrected them. I'm great on all the good things she did.
That's what I'm saying. It's tape. It's edited. They tape for 2 hours and play an hour of it. That's what I'm saying. It's not complete. Great. So we don't know what she defended. We only know what they let you see.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I saw didn't correct that, so I'm correcting it for our listeners.
You're so combative tonight, Wendy.
I'm just not going to let go of that bone because I know I'm right.
Well, you are right, but you're missing the larger point. You're missing the larger point. Oh, you're killing me. So I just got a text from the other Joseph. Joseph is trying to put us on another network. So should we give up on the one Joseph and go or the one was it Malik and go after the other Malik? That's the new question.
I don't know. Maybe we'll have a Malik contest and see who shows up, because that's how you win. Whoever shows up. All right. If you're playing the game by default, I mean, we're not trying to go to default. If you don't show up, how can you even expect to win? Most of life is won by people freaking showing up.
Okay, so you want further evidence or proof that of this business, this claim I'm making over the Friday the 13th thing?
Do it. Tell me.
So remember I said maybe I can bail out of this by because normally we'd be in break by now again. There'd be another break here. Where are we at? What time is it? Like the computer's still keeping time. It still knows what time it is.
7:45.
Yeah,
7:45.
Well, it's 7:47. Like the airplane. But the problem is
I'm in a time zone difference.
The program here is frozen, and because it's there's going to be no break. And during the time where I was playing that Karen O'Keefe piece on the doctors today, which aired at the same time Jeff Sessions is up there saying, "Oh no, we got to shut this whole thing down," because that's what he meant by that. It was basically couched terms to this committee that if you elect me as the Attorney General, I intend to do what Chris Christie would have done. Which is just
good. So we'll have someone to point at and target because he's super evil, just like frickin' Shoot is in this state. Now we know who to go after and why.
Well, yeah, but we don't need a new target. We need some freedom. We don't need a new fight. I'm done fighting. We don't need a new fight.
Sometimes you need a really bad villain to make all the heroes come out. That's all I'm saying.
But while I was busy playing that, I was hoping to maybe do some stuff to force this program closed so that I could reopen it and reposition it. But this is the further evidence of the Friday the 13th thing, which is coming. Like, I don't even know if I want to get to Friday the 13th because the days leading up to it have been increasingly getting weirder. More and more.
We have to do it.
More and more strange occurrences have been happening as each day goes by, starting yesterday. So I'm hoping that this curve ends quickly. Because if the curve continues to Friday the 13th, there's going to be a pinnacle of weirdness that happens. And I'm just saying, it's up to you to watch it on out at Vehicle City at 7 o'clock on Friday when we do the marijuana match game.
And tell them about that. What are we going to do there?
The show is on from 7 until 8. If you do want to get into Vehicle City to be a part of the studio audience, you will need a medical marijuana card to get in. You'll need your identification, and I think there's some kind of a social club fee there.
There's a 1-day pass, which or you could do a year-long subscription,
right,
or a membership. So there's a 1-day pass that I was aware of. I don't know if it's going to apply for that day, but we can't assume anything.
No, I don't know. I'm just saying those are the three things you'll need. You'll need that pass, whatever it costs you. No. You'll need your identification, and you'll need your MMMP card or your state equivalent. I'm sure that they honor reciprocity there.
And they need to be there a little bit early because we want to go on right at 7 if possible. So you need to come in, sit down, get into the recliners, nice and comfy, pick out a good spot.
Barring any technical difficulties, which I don't think we'll have, we should be on the air at 7 o'clock. So from 7 until 8 is when the show goes down, and there's a stage show going on. I mean, we're going to do a match game, just like you've seen it from the 70s TV show. Some of it played in the 80s, too, didn't it? Like in the early 80s, I think some played.
And this year, it's a new show this year. My mom watched it and said it was filthy.
That's right. Well, it is. Well, see, it's a little more risque now because, Hill Street Blues played that guy's butt on TV, and, Bart says swear words now, so, from The Simpsons.
Yeah. She's like, yeah, I saw it. It was filthy.
Yeah, right. Well, your mom we got to get your mom on the show.
She's coming because it's her birthday.
Well, it's her birthday today?
On Friday the 13th. That's why it's going to be okay, because she's a good witch. We're going to, yeah.
That's what's screwing everything up.
She's making it better, though, because she's a good witch, so all the good energy will come in, because it's her birthday, we're going to have fun, she's going to laugh. It's going to be awesome.
Well, is she coming down that day?
Yeah.
She's going to be
at the show.
She's going to be at the marijuana match game?
Yes.
We need to make her a celebrity judge. We need to make your mom a celebrity judge. I think it would be hilarious. Does your mom remember the old marijuana match game? Or the old match game PM or whatever?
Match game.
Right.
But I have to tell you, the only marijuana knowledge she has is via me, so who knows how that is going to translate if she tries to spit it back out.
That might be funny, though. See, this is all about fun and entertainment. Look, the only reason we're doing this is because it's a great fun thing to do. Fun thing to do? I don't know how I said that. We had to put some beats to that. It's a great fun thing to do on a weekend night with a whole group of stoners. Maybe a couple 300, and so there's plenty of it's a social club. So
there's music.
There'll be some music and some other stuff going down, but we're going to be there doing this show on the air, on the overhead speakers. They're in this venue at Vehicle City, and 7 to 8. And so there's prizes attached, and we hope to see you down there. It should be a lot of fun.
Now,
we're not going to reveal the celebrity guests until maybe the day before the show. We'll have to do maybe Thursday. We'll tell everybody who the celebrity guests are.
We're accumulating them as we speak.
Oh, there are prizes coming in, yes. So listen,
yeah. I mean, at the door, I can barely open the door anymore.
No, shut up. Don't oversell it. Now you're overselling it.
No, but I do have a question.
You're gonna make me have to show up with a cornucopia or something. I don't have a cornucopia. Is it cornucopia or cornucopia? I think it's cornucopia.
It's cornucopia. No, listen. Cornucopia.
Oh, it's cornucopia.
Cornucopia. Don't say corna. It's cornucopia. It's kind of a cornucopia.
Oh my God! All right,
I couldn't speak yesterday either. I said the wrong sentence. I made up words. It was terrible. I had all this trippy tongue stuff going on. I don't know why.
You're gonna make me. I don't even know. Does everybody even know what a cornucopia is?
It's a big horn. It's supposed to represent the horn of plenty.
Right. You're going to make me show up with one of those, or basically a Santa Claus sled as a makeshift cornucopia.
Listen, it's going to be a fun time. If they would have had one of these in the day when I was growing up, I would have never left. This place is fantastic. Just to go there and see it and experience it's going to be a lot of fun.
The official pronunciation.
Oh, no.
I have to look it up now.
Dictionary Steve.
It is. It's like that. It's something I got. I'll seek the knowledge. Inquiring minds want to know. Look, I'm a guy that speaks words. I need to know how to say them right. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Traditional English pronunciation of Latin. Da-da-da-da. Why do they get the long form? I'm just looking for phonetical representation of the word.
I will bet that it says cornucopia or cornucopia. It's probably a dialect from this Midwestern twang that I have. I mean, we don't say things right in the Midwest necessarily, We have this
it says there were no results. There were no results matching the query. It says.
I will look it up. You continue on. So
there is.
I had a question about the game show tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
I mean Friday. I'm sorry, I'm skipping ahead.
Boy, wait a minute. So wait a minute. You're not only trying to make me show up with a Santa sleigh full of stuff, which I don't have yet, or even might not get at all, but now you're bumping up the date on me.
Well, I want you to be ready.
You're really turning on the pressure there, Wendy. Wendy, the pressure mill.
I had a valid question that I know a person wanting to attend would have to ask, and I just, you know what, it left me. So if you have any questions, ask on Facebook. Oh, I know.
Oh, God.
Are we live streaming that day on Facebook?
No, the answer to that question is cleanly and clearly no, because I don't think the
privacy.
No, it's not even that. No, it's not even that, because we could put the camera on the game show, but there'll be only one camera if we did it, and the computer that we've got out there to broadcast with is not horsed up for all that video stuff.
Okay. And this is our test run. This goes good.
No, it's not even a test run. Stop billing it that way. You got to do it. No, it's not a test run. What are you saying?
I mean, for live streaming later, because we're going to keep doing this type of stuff.
Well, yeah, but it's not a test run.
Okay, people, I was wrong. Sorry.
Good Lord, she just leaps them right out of the bag. She like I haven't even. There's no like what do they call that when you stop and think about something before it comes out?
I'm a malaprop. We call me and my mom Miss Malaprop because we put things in different words. They don't awesome, but we know what we mean. And the biggest word we use is that thingy. And I will know what that thingy is as long as my mom says, you know what that thingy? And I go, uh-huh.
That's actually funny because do you ever do anything like with your hands when you're talking about that thingy? And what you do? Wait a minute. Wait. Just answer the question. Yeah, yes was the answer. Okay. So if you do stuff with your hands,
language.
So if you do stuff with your hands, does it change from thingy to thingy? Like if there are two different thingies and you say the thingy and you do the thing with your hands, does that really distinguish what the thingy is?
Partly, yes, because also my mother and I do sign language. So I could be signing to her for all I know when we talk about the thingy, and maybe she's giving me clues that way, or just because I was there and had the shared experience.
Okay, this is getting interesting now. So is this evil twin? Yeah. Is this like evil twin sign language, or is this customary I'm deaf sign language?
No, we know American Sign Language.
Okay, so it's the customary I'm deaf sign language.
But we don't necessarily sign to each other, but we do use our hands a lot. Plus, I'm Italian. What the heck? It's going to be even talking to you on the phone right now, my hands are moving. I can't help myself.
Okay, well, you're talking to the king of hand moving here. I mean, that's what I do.
I am. Everything is, I've got to move because I'm talking.
See, right now, as you're saying it, you're like Rip Torn throwing confetti into the air, aren't you?
Yes, my hand just went up, and all the fingers were flayed, and if there was confetti, it would have went throughout the room, and everyone would have had a party. That's me talking with my hand.
You want to hear something really weird? Because I got nothing better to do because I can't stop the audio thing from not playing? Because it's not playing, and I've got no way to shut it down. I've told the computer I did the Control-Alt-Delete thing, and I did everything to tell it to end the program. It's everything else is running. That thing is still looking at me going,
we can never stop talking.
Nope.
We're caught in some weird matrix where we can never get out.
I'm telling you, it's the Friday the 13th thing.
Oh.
Nobody wants to listen to me about the Friday the 13th thing. That's exactly what it is.
Well, my weird thing was I didn't even know we were back on the radio show. And I was just talking to you. I thought we were having a conversation on the phone, and I was like, oops, we're actually on air.
Oh, you thought we were just... Why would I just talk to you on the phone at the time when we're on the air? How would that make any normal sense? Like, how could you decide...
I thought you couldn't get it running again. I thought, oh, well, he gave up. And then finally I realized, he's talking to an audience, not just me.
Well, that's complimentary, first off, because that's how it should be. But you should be able to forget that you're on the air. I can't do that because I can't do that. But...
Well, obviously, I have the right strain for that.
I just don't know how you could.
Possible.
I just don't know how you can slice that pie somehow that you get a slice out of there that says, "Oh, maybe we're not on the air and we're just talking." There's no physical way I can get that slice out of that pie. No, sorry, I couldn't hear you.
See, everything went dead, and he goes, oh, I don't know what happened. I'm like, yeah, my phone booted me off. And you're like, okay, wait a minute. And so I thought you were still waiting to get back on the air, and while you were futzing with your stuff over there,
no,
you were, like, spilling that time with, like, talking like you always do.
No, not at all.
See,
listen, we're 58 minutes and 50 seconds into a rolling show. We've been broadcasting the entire time. It's just that there's no show audio anymore because the program that runs it...
tell me we're back on the air. You said you were broken. You said it was off.
Well, I said the thing is, no, I said, look, in the interest of, I can't do anything else because something happened. I guess maybe I could see, if I could see maybe if I put on your glasses how we might not be on the air. But
because you said hold, and you said I got to futz with this, and I thought, oh, okay, so you were not on it, and I thought, oh, maybe.
No, that was you're mixing before the air, before we went on the air with what happened on the air. What happened on the air?
No, like 20 minutes ago when we had that blank out, my phone went like kind of weird and stopped working, and I thought you'd actually hung up on me.
No, I see. You never told me about that.
It was weird.
Never intimated that to me. So, no,
whatever.
We're almost an hour into the show, and we're going to have to end the show at a normal time because I don't know how to make it end, and I'm telling you, I'm blaming it on Friday the frickin' 13th. There's nothing else.
Well, I know how to make my part end.
Look, I've done this show now for 7 years, and I've always done it the same way every time. Now the show's changed. A lot of stuff in the show's changed, but the way it gets done is basically the same, and this is that method. Never in the history of the show has the computer ever responded in such a fascinating and unexplainable way. So either giving homage to the police, a.k.a. Gordon Sumner, a.k.a. Sting. Somebody left a ghost in the machine. Boy, I was really reaching out for that joke. That was a really far reach for a joke.
I was thinking that when you said that, though.
Somebody left a ghost in the machine, or there's a Friday the 13th thing going on. You know what I'm going to do? I need to bring a good luck charm to ward off the Friday the 13th bad luck, because at this rate, doing the game show, boy, I could just see how it might be just completely hilarious. Because when we were out there doing the audio check yesterday, you know what started this? We were doing the audio check yesterday to make sure all the audio was working right. And
there was a lot of things that started this. I'm
telling you, I've got it recorded in my head where it started.
Okay, it's here.
It was when I said, okay, well, let's test the game show theme music, and I pressed a button, and instead of the match game music, the Price is Right music started.
And I thought it was the right music too, and I started singing it. They're like, no, it's the wrong music. I'm like, hey, it's good enough for me. It sounds good.
The thing that was going through my head was boom, 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 wow.
And then we get to the end of all the theme music, and you're like, I've never heard the end. I'm like, yeah, because they would have fired his ass if Gene Rayburn played it all the way to the end.
You know how long it's been since Gene Rayburn's been around, by the way? Gene Rayburn, God rest his soul, died in 1999. He was 91, died in 99.
Wow.
Yeah, 2 years after Diana bit it. He lived 2 years longer than Princess Diana.
Wow. Must have been the water.
Boom, 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 wow. Debbie Downer. It turned into the Debbie Downer show.
That sounds like the Charlie Brown people, too, though.
We call her Debbie Downer. Womp. I'm telling you, there's nothing I can do to make this thing stop. I can end the show, but...
All right, folks, we're on a telethon. Pay us money so we can't get on.
No, we're not doing a telethon. Good God. She's turning... I'm telling you, she's the wild card on the show now. Converting it from a Friday game to a Thursday game, or no, a Wednesday game. It was going to be a Wednesday game, and there's going to be a next you're going to be telling people that I'm going to be showing up with a Carnival cruise boat with I don't know, strippers and cocaine or something. I don't know. What are you going to tell people?
Don't challenge me. Don't challenge me. I have come up with some really great crap in my life for free.
All right.
So, I could do it. I bet you I could get something there fantastic. If I need maybe a little bit more time.
Well,
but I've been given stuff in my life just for asking. It's like, oh, hey, that's cool. They're like, oh, you want it? I'm like, yeah.
This is only the first of many of these that we'll do. Probably a lot out on location. I never conceived this as a game that we played on location. I just thought it might be fun with a live audience. I always thought of this as a game that we played.
Audience on location. Then.
Say that.
Make sure they're alive.
I stepped on you. Say that again.
Well, I just want to make sure our audience is alive on Friday.
Oh, they'll be
alive. We're
alive.
Going to be testing them.
They'll be alive. I mean, I don't know if you'll be able to tell. Some of them you might have to poke a couple of.
Into those recliners, man. You just soak into that. Sink into that recliner. You don't come back out.
Well, some of those people you got to poke with a stick just to make sure they're still there anyways. But those recliners, they'll just suck you down in, and you can't even find you just down in. Where did he go? He sat down in the recliner and he just disappeared.
I wonder how many roaches are in there. I found a couple yesterday.
Well, of the smoking kind, right? That's what you're talking about. See, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You get us into trouble so much.
Well,
I'm like
you to clarify, sir.
People are already going, oh, I don't know, the recliners are too cushy and they got roaches in there. We can't go there.
The right people know what that means, and they'll be there, brother.
I don't know if the right people know. Now you got to stop. You got to stop stepping out into the promo place without putting on the thing that what's that thing in the prefrontal cortex? The thing that the filter. The thing that you got to send it through the filter first.
I don't have one of those.
You don't have a filter?
I don't have a pre-filter.
Well, I am the filter queen, so there you go.
Hey, you have to be a filter or buy a filter.
I'm a filter. He's a filter. She's a filter. We're a filter. Wouldn't you like to get a filter fish too? I don't know. So we got to get off the air here.
I can't. Fish.
I don't. I've never.
I don't know. Let me out of air jail. I don't know where I am.
I've never had the gefilte fish. Is it bad?
I wouldn't do it.
It's just.
I don't want to offend my Jewish relatives and friends. So I'm not going to say, but don't do it.
Don't do it. She says. Is it that bad? I was
I'm a vegan, first of all. So look at that.
Nobody cares about the vegan thing on a wider scale.
I'm just saying. But if you're saying I don't like gefilte fish, part of it is because I'm a vegan, which means
right. But you said you had the gefilte fish. You said you had it though.
Yes.
So we can at least know if you liked it or not. Because I would assume that the time that you had the gefilte fish, you weren't vegetarian.
I was a pre-vegetarian.
Was it maybe gefilte fish that convinced you to be vegetarian? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
We're all pre-vegetarians. We all are pre-vegetarians. You just need to get there.
We're all pre-vegetarians now.
Think about that.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to. I really don't want to think about that. All I can think of is my big, fat, thick, juicy steak still sizzling on the plate with some A1 sauce next to it. That's all I can think of.
Ooh, like that nasty McDonald's burger they try to sell you that has been frozen for 5 days. Yum, yum.
No, I don't know. I try not to do the fast food stuff very often. But I'm telling you.
I've seen you put some stuff in your face that I wouldn't even give my dog.
I'm telling you, the entire time that we've been talking here, since that break has been going on, I have been pushing all the buttons to make this thing stop, and it ain't happening.
It can't happen because we're stuck here till Friday. Then we get out of jail as soon as we give away our prize.
Oh, no, I am not.
Like, okay.
I am not doing another marathon broadcast. I gave that up after Am I Legalized? And I might have to do that again, by the way, so maybe I didn't give it up.
I didn't know you had done one.
You didn't know I did a marathon broadcast for Am I Legalized?
No, I'm late to the party sometimes.
Okay, so you don't know it at all? It was a year ago.
No, it would include the word no, and all of that encompasses no.
Thank you for pointing out my stupidity so clearly. So, the whole thing with the Am I Legalized, the big broadcast marathon, we did 8 solid days of broadcasting. We were on the air 24/7 for 8 straight days.
Wow.
And now, sometimes I would play some tape back while I was, trying to catch some rest, because I did get, an hour of sleep here or there. And we play some of the better tape back at 3 in the morning or something. But other than that, I was hoarse-voiced. I felt like Jerry Lewis without a director. And that's an old reference.
And a drink.
Nobody, if you're talking to the millennials and you ask them who Jerry Lewis is, they're like, huh?
Go figure it out. They're not stupid.
I had this conversation the other day. I said I'd be like one of Jerry's kids, and because it's an old joke, and it's a politically incorrect joke, but it's an old joke.
I don't know. You go easy.
And so I said that to somebody, and they're like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "Oh God, I got to explain to you who Jerry Lewis is. Do you know who Jerry Lewis is?" And they're like, "No." I'm like, "God, I'm so old. I'm incredibly old." But so. We did the marathon. So Jerry Lewis, for you guys who don't know, just speaking to the millennials now, Jerry Lewis used to host a telethon every Labor Day, and the networks would give him free time 24 hours a day. They went for 24 hours for a whole day on Labor Day, starting at midnight, going off till midnight, where they did, well, I think they cut it short for the 11 o'clock news to end it. But basically, it was a 24-hour thing.
They went past midnight. I remember seeing it past midnight.
Did they go back
sure.
to? Okay, so I get maybe it depended on your local stations because it was a network thing. The networks all carried the same programming live, and that was all you could watch unless it was PBS. And I think even some of those stations carried the Lewis Telethon. In fact, I remember the PBS stations carrying the Lewis Telethon. So if you turned on your TV on Labor Day and it was the 70s or the 80s, there was nothing on but the Labor Day Telethon. That was it. Unless you had some cable side channels, and then you were going to basically probably watch some infomercial. But so the Lewis Telethon generated millions of dollars for muscular dystrophy, which is still a needy cause. And Jerry Lewis isn't around with us anymore. So,
did he die? When did he go? Is he in France?
Huh?
When did he die? I was not sure he was gone or not.
I think Jerry Lewis died.
I don't know. I'm going to look it up. You keep talking.
Oh, you never looked up the last thing.
What was I supposed to look up last time?
I don't know. You lost track of it. You said, I'll look it up. You just keep talking. I kept talking. You never brought it back up.
He was born in 26. They don't say he's dead yet.
Really? I thought Jerry Lewis died.
Hold on. He was born in 26, so, I mean, he's a good, he's 90. No, he's still here.
Wow. Well, I know he wasn't.
Don't curse him. Betty White's next. Don't curse him.
No, I'm not trying to get anybody. You know, Betty White. I hope Betty White lives to 200, because she's funny people.
That's my superstition coming out, because we talked about being superstitious. So right there, yeah, something like that. Like when I talk about death in a person, like, okay, you can curse him.
Yeah, I don't know. So that's who Jerry Lewis was. He used to do the telethon, and now I did once anyways, this 8-day telethon, which was, you know, mammoth in production. We had a trailer that we drug around with us behind a truck, and we did 4 cities in 8 days. We did 2 days at each city. It was Detroit, it was Ann Arbor, it was Lansing, and it was Flint. And so we were at a couple of dispensaries in all 4 places out in the parking lot. And we were there doing this live broadcast where people could come and drop off their MI Legalized petition forms. Because it was the last big push before the beginning of the year. It was the big push to get inside the 180-day window, right, which they failed at. So to get all the signatures in the 180-day window. So they were trying to get all the signatures that people had signed and hadn't turned in yet. And to try and I was trying to do this push to get as many people to sign before that 180-day window closed as I possibly could. So we generated thousands of signatures that showed up at the trailer by going around to these four cities in the state. But we did a live broadcast that went along with it, and the newspaper covered it, and it was like the Detroit News covered, or the Free Press covered it anyways. I don't think the news covered it. The Free Press did. And some of the local TV stations did. When we came from town to town, we'd pass out the press release, and the local TV stations would come and do interviews and help proliferate the message, which is, again, why we did this big stunt. But it's been, it's been a long haul since then. And I don't remember why I brought the reference up, but that's what we did. The travel trailer was donated by the fabulous Mrs. X. She did not want to be revealed as to who she was. But and the traveling of the travel trailer was also. But that was it was a lot of fun. You said
you were going to do another one, maybe another telethon.
Well, we might
what you did before.
We might have to do that to raise awareness again and make sure that people get all those signatures in. But I mean, I don't even know at this point, because I do not know the current status of that campaign. I mean, I know they're doing it. I know that they're still challenging all the legals of the before and all that stuff. There's still something going off to the Supreme Court about this. So I don't know if they'll pick it up or what. Maybe they're pausing, waiting to see if they get a new Supreme Court member. Now they got 9 instead of 8, so they can have a split decision instead of a tie. Because that would suck if you took something to the Supreme Court and it got tied. Especially if there was nothing heard on it ever before, because if the Supreme Court ties, the rule is, you know what happens? The previous ruling.
I wasn't following very closely.
Previous ruling stands. If the Supreme Court ties on an issue, and there's no majority opinion, it's only dissenting opinions, and it's tied, then the rule is that the lower court decision that stands, whatever it was. And since there would be, in the instance I'm proposing, no lower court decision, there would be no decision. It would be like the Supreme Court didn't take it up. So in order to get back to that level, somebody would have to climb the steps through the legal process, which you're familiar with, again, to get back to the Supreme Court and have standing on the same issue. It's a really tough ladder to climb, and an expensive one, and a time-consuming.
And that's what they were worried about, only having 8 justices on the Supreme Court right now, that we're not going to be able to settle things, and some things are just, really not getting properly decided because of that.
They did it for a year, and they did have one of those situations came up. It was about this. Yeah. It was about this situation about Colorado and Washington getting sued by Nebraska and some other states.
Yeah, saying your stuff's leaking into our state. We don't like that.
They didn't like it at all. But
too bad.
But the complaint was nullified, and since there wasn't a lower court decision, it's an undecided decision. So somebody, if they want to, I guess maybe that's something. One of the questions we'll look to see that's happening this year. if and when they get an attorney general confirmed, and the president's cabinet gets entrenched, and they do the repeal of Obamacare and all that stuff, will you see these other states bring their case again before a new Supreme Court? That's another question. I don't think anybody's pondered that idea, because if the ruling from the Supreme Court was moot because it was tied, and then they would just have to bring a new case. And since there was no lower cases, no lower courts, they just together went straight to the Supreme Court and said, look, this is something, because there's a conflict between states, and it's a clear conflict, we think the Supreme Court should make a decision on it. So they just have to go right back there and pose the question before our new court. But, we all know what's going to happen there. Because I'm
a bunch of malarkey.
There are a lot of big questions left for our government and what's going to happen in the future, that's for sure. But so I guess, I don't even know. There's no way to shut this machine down, Wendy. It's a big no.
We're just going to have to say goodbye, and I'm just going to have to step out of the Matrix.
Step out of the Matrix. It's weird that I've been in the Matrix this long. How long? So we're 15 minutes over already. But so maybe just touch on a couple of things. We'll remind people about the thing on Friday, and remind people to find a good luck charm. I need to find a good luck charm for Friday the 13th, because I'm telling you we're not going to survive it if I don't find a charm.
I've got mine.
I'm not superstitious at all. I'm not. But something is weird. I mean, admittedly, wait a minute, did it close? It finally might have closed. Let me see. I've lost control of the mouse here. Blinding the camera with the mouse. Okay, so let's just see. I think it did. It finally closed. Oh, maybe not. It might have just minimized. I'll be mad if it minimized. It did. It didn't close. So it is Friday the 13th. It's just telling me. Find a good luck charm.
Mm-hmm.
I did the Control-Alt-Delete thing. I went to Task Manager. It's sitting there. It says not responding. I highlight it. I click End Task, and nothing happens. I click it repeatedly, and nothing happens. I right-click on it and toggle down to End Task, and nothing happens. And then usually when something like that happens, like the whole computer's frozen, right? If you go to anything, it's frozen. But if I go to the timeline of our show, it says we've been on an hour and 17 minutes when we have. And also, if I go to the Facebook feed, it says the same thing. So something's not right. I'm telling you, that's what it is. If I had a way to implore people, because there's a bunch of Facebook listeners, and I know that because we usually the largest amount of people listening live, excuse me, are always on at the end of the show. Because we've been on longer, so more people could find us and tune in. So the most people are listening by the time the show ends. So here we are with the most people listening, and there's no end to the show. So if I could implore you to call in and agree with me or disagree with me, I would, but I don't think they will. I don't think that a single one of those, of the biggest number of listeners we've had during this broadcast, this is the one show, I don't think anybody will call in. I'll ask them to 248-278-8067. 248-278-8067. No, I don't need any help. I just want to.
We need to be let out of the Matrix.
No, I know.
To get us out.
Why do you keep going down the wrong path?
I don't think it's the wrong path. I think it's funny. I need to be let off the phone, and they need to come in and unlock the key. Come make sure everything works. Come check it out.
She must have done a dab or something. Was that a dab talking?
I did the right thing. Whatever I did, it's always right. Just remember that.
It's always the right thing.
I know. It's right for me. It may not be right for you.
It was a little Alice in Wonderland tale you told there. Is that your way of saying I got to go? Goodbye?
No. It just seems like you said we couldn't get out, but you want to see people can still call in. Why are they calling in? Refresh my memory.
Never let me say it.
Well, here's your opportunity.
The reason would be is to agree with me or disagree with me that there is bad luck afoot. Maybe this will do it. Wait a minute. Maybe this will do it. And it finally did. There we go. Now I can end the show properly. See, was that an agreement that it did that?
I think it's perfect.
It's almost like the computer is a Ouija board at this point. It is.
It was my guardian angel that helped it in.
No, there's nothing to explain why at that given moment, for just that one point, and as soon as I blame it on the right thing, it says, yes, you are correct. I don't believe in Ouija
Yeah,
boards.
we're in the Matrix. That's how you get to the next level. You have to get past this.
You see that as soon as I said I don't believe in Ouija boards, because I opened up the program again so I could play the end, and as soon as I said I don't believe in Ouija boards, it did the circles thing again. Like right away, it went to circles.
Well, I'm not surprised.
I don't get it.
Are you trying to surprise me? Because it's not working.
Well, what would surprise you?
If this really hot guy came to my front door with a pizza right now, I'd be all like,
You're having a
I'm
hot guy.
surprised.
You're having a hot guy pizza fantasy right now.
I'm just saying it would surprise me.
Hi, Wendy was so high.
How high was she?
She once tried to have a pizza delivered to blank. Bum, ba-da-dum, bum, ba-dum. Bum, ba-da-dum, bum, ba-dum. So, yeah,
that's funny.
You can't. I don't even think that the pizza delivery people will deliver a pizza here. And now I'm struggling with this stupid thing again. I'm telling you, whatever ghost was in the machine has followed me home, because this started back when we were doing the audio test yesterday.
Get some sage and start burning it.
Would sage do the trick?
Yeah, you got to get that at the bad weebie-jeebies. It's sage. You can get it down at Dale's. I'm not trying to give a shout-out, but you might want to get, like, the big package.
Just out of curiosity, did you ever go on Facebook during the show today and do any comments? Because usually you're, like, making comments all over the place.
I looked a little bit, but there wasn't really anything except people just going thumbs up and stuff. Like, there was nothing for me to really comment that I could see.
John Schickler seems to love the show. John Schickler posted 1,000 comments today.
Yeah, but I don't know what he was, like, happy about necessarily. So I was just, like, liking his likes, We're liking each other. I mean, not, in public, and it's all legal, but that's what was happening.
You know what? I never maximized the window that shows the play window on the show. But there were a lot of people commenting. That's why you didn't go in there and say nothing, because there were a lot of comments. John made a bunch of comments.
The last time I looked, there wasn't that much, and so I went on and I started doing some other things. Sorry,
so
I didn't know. I was.
Well, I thought you were the Facebook monitor, because that's what you usually do. You go in there.
I can be, but if you don't request it and something else is more interesting, I'm not promising I'm not going to get distracted if not specifically asked to do a task.
It was shiny.
I went and liked his like. We liked each other. It was all good. Then I moved on to other things.
So my friend Marilyn, I see. So this is where it gets romper roomy. Like if you start if I start verbalizing the stuff that's in the comment window, it gets very romper roomy. You know what I mean by romper? See, that's another. I'm really old. I'm really old. Well, you're really old
like
too.
He said, Michigan legalized. Thank you, Steve. I was like, oh, cool. And then I was trying to think.
You're as old as
John Strickler. I couldn't remember.
You're as old as me. So
romper room, I know.
Well, you would get the reference. So
Strickler.
Again, speaking to the millennials, the four that are listening, the romper room show was like a kids show, and at the end of the show, the lady that held the romper room, I guess, because there was a bunch of little kids in the it was a big playroom, but it was a TV show and it was educational, and I think it was on. Was it on PBS? I don't remember. Was romper room a PBS show or was it a commercial show? I think it was
like some sort of PBS. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I think it was PBS. So, and then at the end of the show, she would get out her magic mirror, and she would get the, and it was like a closing, like it was the same line every time, but all the names changed. So she'd get out the magic mirror, and in the magic mirror, she's supposed to be able to see through the television and see who's looking at her. And she'd get out the magic mirror and look into it, and she'd start listing off this list of names that was always different every week. And so that's what I mean by when I start to say hi to the names on the list, like Phil and Marilyn. These are all people that I personally know, and some of them are putting messages that are what we're talking about up on the feed. And then John,
I only see 3 comments. Sorry.
How can you only see 3? I see like a whole bunch.
I don't know. That's all that's up when I look. So there was only 3 things for me to look at. There was John saying, "Good job, Wendy and Steve." John Schlicker going, "Wendy!" exclamation points. And I was like, okay. John Schlicker, and John Schlicker, Michigan legalized. Thank you, Steve. So 4 comments. I don't know what else I'm supposed to do with all that.
Well, but you haven't looked since.
Not on my feed. Yeah. Maybe I need to refresh it again. Maybe that's the problem.
Oh, you were looking at. Oh, you shared it. You've been looking at your feed.
No, I was looking. Oh, now there's one more comment. Now I see Joseph Malik. But see, probably because I didn't refresh my Facebook page, I didn't see these other comments.
And then there's Marilyn, and then there's Phil, and then a whole bunch more from John. Like John giving us major props.
I see Joseph now. And now I only see 4 comments. I can't see everybody's comments. I don't know why.
Really? Do you see the ones that I put up there?
Yep. Nope.
Wow, something's really wrong with you. They're telling you it's the Friday the 13th bug.
Friday the 13th. I know.
There's something really weird going on. Like right now, I'm talking to you through buzzing and humming because I can't. The headphone thing has started screwing up when I started complaining about all the crazy crap happening. Like it goes silent, it goes dead, then I can hear part of it, and then I can, a lot of it, then it's loud, then it's quiet, then it's got a buzz. It's all messed up. There is definitely an evil ghost in the machine. Maybe you're right. I need to get the sage out, and maybe I'll get my friend Marilyn Morgan over here, and she can do like a little incantation and get rid of whatever's in there.
It's like like what the people do, and they get rid of the demons. What that's called? Exorcism.
Marilyn says that Trump probably smokes a bong in private.
No. He's such an idiot, he probably doesn't even know. He's not even smart enough to smoke pot.
Phil said that made the comment. He says, look, people on both sides are pro-cannabis. Another slap in the face of majority sickening.
Well, see, what I think happened is that everyone's pro-cannabis on both Democratic and Republican. It's just that more people voted Republican because they were looking for that populist vote. So when they voted in medical marijuana, they got, in our state at least, they got the Republican stupid governor and attorney general, but they also were pro-marijuana. They wanted change, and it's always the Republicans that promise that. They make these big promises and never do crap except hurt little people. So it seems like it's a contradictory result, but it's not really. It's just based on who really voted.
Well, and here's what gets me, I think, the most. Because I think in my heart of hearts, I agree with everything that you just said about the mean-spirited nature of the Republican Party in general. Many people many avid Republicans would argue, I'll say as devil's advocate, that I'm incorrect because I'm misinterpreting their intentions. The intentions of the Republican Party, they would say, I'm speaking in their stead, is to minimize the size of government, to limit the size of government, because this is commerce and free enterprise. That's what America is. That's what they believe in, that the government should be very limited in what its capacity and ability is, its outreach, its cost, its size. And I'm saying that in that effort, you're being greedy because we're the wealthiest country in the world and have some of the people, the most suffering people in the world. And that there's no reason for that given the disparity of wealth in this country. That it is sickening and sad that any animal or human in the population we're familiar with should be suffering in any way because we have the capacity and the means to keep that from happening. And if you're saying that will destroy free economy and free enterprise and, it's too costly and we can't afford it, it'll drive business away and destroy the economy, I think you're wrong. I think you're just mean-spirited about it. But what bothers me is that as mean-spirited as I believe that the Republican Party generally is, even if some of the people that are in that space don't think they are, when it comes time to putting the official kiss on their statement, they will lie and dress it up and pretend like they're their sweetest Southern pie. And it's not this way once or twice or occasionally or in an intermittent way whatsoever. It's every turn of the card. It happens this way with predictability and regularity on a monumental scale. That's what I feel about it. It drives me insane that people like Trump, who's now a twisted part of this party, as much of the party. This is like some kind of Siamese twin that wasn't born that way, but was actually sewn together, this new Republican Party. And some of it's like, well, I guess we're stuck with it, so we might as well like it. Yeah, I guess you're not as weird as we thought you were, now that we got to live together. I mean, that's what I think is going on right now. This is the stitching together of DNA of different types. And they're not going to agree much amongst themselves, except they do know this principle well. Stick behind the leader, because if we do, we get to have our way. We get to at least stop what those guys want to do. And when their agenda is worse, just because it's their agenda, which they've clearly said, when it's our agenda, it's okay. But when it's your agenda, it's not okay. We won't let it ever happen. Now, when you pass the ball back to us, we'll say, oh, well, this is okay now. We'll do this. Well, now we'll do this. But if it's even hinted that this is their idea, they'll scrap it and come up with a new one. Not for what they're trying to do, because they were clearly behind what they were trying to do. But you relabel it with something democratic, or even in some instances bipartisan support, and no, we can't do that unless that's the only way it can get done. It's a mess. I don't know if it's even fixable. History so far has proven that the evil import of money into politics will destroy a great nation every single time. That there's no coming back from that destruction. That once the evil worm has made its way in, once you've been infected by that virus, you're a goner. And I think that infection is already there. I think it's already been present for decades now, just in a much more weakened or resisted way. Now there's much less resistance to this virus. I don't know. Ratings say that we've dwindled down because I've gone off on the politicking page, and we've probably...
Have we put them to sleep yet?
Huh? What?
Have we put our listeners to sleep yet?
Not yet. Not maybe. I don't know. So,
well, I was thinking the problem with the Republicans saying that they want smaller government, it only applies when it comes to giving us benefits.
Right.
That's what they want, smaller, but the military-industrial complex, that can be large. Any payouts to their cronies, that can keep on going on.
I'm going to try this one last feeble time. Okay, so this time I'm going to do it a different way. So rather than recover the old project, which is what it wants to do, I'm going to say go ahead and discard it. And then I'm just going to reopen it. And maybe it won't. Maybe it's the recovery that was causing it to crash. I don't know. If this works, then I'm going to say that we didn't need the sage and the Marilyn Morgan incantation.
But if it doesn't, then what? What are you going to do?
Then it's Friday the damn 13th. Like if it freezes, if it just gives me circles in the sky, it's going to be blamed on Friday the 13th because there's no the program is just completely buggy. Like it's gone batty. Like it's not recoverable. Which is basically something I probably invoked upon myself when I said, boogeyman, come and get me. I'm going to schedule a big event on Friday the 13th.
I'm bringing my good luck charm. I'm all set.
So
I'm not worried.
Here's how bad it is. Instead this time of even going to the program that I wanted it to go to, it just went immediately to not responding.
Mm.
Like it's just giving me the endless circles.
I call it the wheel of misfortune.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't. I don't. There's not even an alternate way that I can do the ending. So I'm just going to end it. What else are you going to do?
Just end it.
Just end it.
Just give it a Kevorkian.
Give it to Kevorkian. Here's your trigger, sir. Just when you're ready to pull the trigger, you just pull it here, sir. You'll die instantly, sir.
If you're lucky.
No, we added some cruelness into the trigger mechanism, sir, so you will squirm and squeal for a bit, and then you may die, but maybe not for a while. Just keep pulling the trigger. We'll just laugh over here in the corner.
You don't have the right to kill yourself. Don't you know that?
Well, I think, this is another, it's really silly on its face, isn't it, to create a law that's unenforceable?
Yeah, I know. We're going to come get you after you kill yourself. Watch out. And then if we can't get you that way, we'll just say you're going to go to hell. We'll get you that way.
I don't
know.
The hell out
you won't kill yourself because we really can't come put you in jail if you're dead.
I was going to end the show, but you made me think of something that that was really weird. And I thought that this new age of when Facebook said we're going to let people do live video, and YouTube got into YouTube started it. I think Facebook is like, oh, we got to compete with YouTube. We better do something. Are they co-owned? No, they're not. They're not. They're separate entities. YouTube and Google are friends. So when Facebook started doing the live video, and because Google's got reach, but it doesn't have the reach that Facebook has. just, Google subscribers, that kind of thing. There's no platform on which people are sitting to get notified that there's some live video coming from a friend. That's a Facebook thing. So when they started doing this Facebook live video thing, I thought, God, this is going to kind of change things. So since then, there's been a few instances that caught my eye that fit that measure, that fit that description. And one of them was a guy who was in Chicago, and I saw this talking about all the Chicago gun violence because it's a larger number of people killed by guns in Chicago this year than L.A. and New York combined. So there's a big hoopla about it, and they're blaming it on the police, and I draw it back to the drug war. I think all of this disparity with the police, all of this public disfavoritism with the police, all of this finger pointing at the police is self-deserved because when Reagan offered the cookie jar up and said, hey, guys, here's a bunch of cookies. Here's another way to exist. I might be the no tax guy, and maybe I cut your budgets because I don't have any tax money that I want to spend on your budget. I didn't say I wouldn't fund you. And here's your funding, some cookies. When they got their hand in the cookie jar, they go, oh, these cookies are good. These cookies are really good. And we get to be badasses when we get these cookies. We get to, run around with rootin' tootin' like, not Toucan Sam, who's Yosemite Sam. Bingo, bango, pow, 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 while we're getting the cookies. It's this position of forcing police to self-fund through low-hanging fruit left open in windows over the drug law. Because let's face it, this is a known thing across the country that these search and seizure laws, these really what I believe are completely unconstitutional and unlawful seizures of goods, especially in Michigan because they're the worst of them all, where they're just taking people's stuff without ever charging them with a crime. They didn't even make the accusation of a crime. They just went into your home, took a bunch of stuff and said, if you want it back, you're going to have to post a bond for 20% to even go to court and find a way to accuse your property of not being involved in a crime. Because they don't accuse you of being in a crime. They accuse the property as if the property was an animate object. And so because they're accusing an inanimate object, it doesn't get the constitutional rights of a court-appointed attorney. And it's also, we're going to make you post a 20% bond in order to go make the argument and even have a day in court to try and get it back. If you don't go to court to get it back, we just keep it. And this is bank accounts, anything of value. They took a woman's dildo here and said, we're gonna confiscate your dildo. Might have been involved in a crime. Got some value attached. You might have bought that dildo with drug money.
Well, if you know what you're doing with it, that would be a crime.
I think it's a crime that they were even in that house in the first place. And remember, they didn't charge this woman with a crime. They just took her stuff.
No.
So
they put a bunch of lube all over they squirted lube all over the
they're very abusive when they start going off on these March emissions where they start saying people are less value than humanity. When you start labeling them something that is us versus them, because this is them versus them. These guys are also citizens. These are not military people. These are paramilitary organizations in the form of police. They're law enforcement personnel. They shouldn't be besmirching their badge by acting so aberrantly in the face of I don't care who it is. They have a responsibility to represent the government in an appropriate way. And bringing your personal attack because you got some bravado and some testosterone coursing through your veins is not a good enough reason. And I'm just saying that all this attack that's going on the police over the last couple of years with the shootings, and this ties into the Facebook video stuff, and I still haven't gotten to the major point, is brought on the police by their own actions. There wouldn't be a big discord between the people of color community and the police community if the police weren't being used as a bastion to beat up that community. Because the statistics bear out, and the lawsuits bear out, and the Justice Department interference bears out that that's exactly what's been going on for decades. It's just been an extended arm of beat up on the colored people movement. It's just convenient that it applies to white people too. That's just gravy for the crop. That's just some extra cream. But with the Facebook video thing changed things in this way. You gave live access to a large number of people with a video camera to anything they want to put on. So I'm not saying that if you're dating whoever your significant person is, and you're about to have sexual affair with said person, that if you got out your Facebook live stream and put it up there, that they're going to let it stay for very long. They're not. They're going to take it down. Somebody's going to complain, and they might even stop your live broadcast as it's playing.
Well, that's good.
But people are going to do it anyways. People are going to do it. And I'll bet you there are people who have done it and gotten banned or maybe got their account profile pulled. But my point is, they're still exposing people to their whimsy with full-color film about anything they want. This could include human cruelty. This could include, and it's been, there's been,
they killed
news.
that guy in Chicago last week.
There's been news stuff. Yes, exactly. Well, and that's what I'm saying. The Chicago shooting. There's a guy that's on Facebook live streaming. He's taunting a gang member, a rival gang member, and as he's taunting him on the live stream, the rival gang member comes up behind him and shoots him as he's looking into the camera finder, the viewfinder. He's looking into the phone. Shoots him dead on his own live stream. You could see him in the live stream come up behind him and shoot him. And I just saw a piece the other, earlier today, and I don't know when exactly. I don't know when it happened. But there was a girl, and I saw it. It was posted on Facebook. But there was a 12-year-old girl who aspiring singer and a writer, and seemed like a rather intelligent young lady. Started a potential vlogger. She said she did vlogging. Started her own Facebook live video thing. And she did like one episode, and she's behind like a little homemade curtain. You know what I mean? She's got like a sheet hung in the background, and she's in her little sheet booth, and she's doing her Facebook Live video, and she's talking, and you could tell one of her siblings is goofing around outside the sheet, and she's poking through there, and she's describing who she is and what she'd like to do, and she's just talking on, and then the next video she posts is of herself. She's crying, and you can tell she's sad, and she's outside, and she's under a tree, and she's apologizing.
Do we need a trigger warning? Because I think I know where you're going.
Yeah, she's apologizing, and she climbs in a tree and hangs herself.
Okay, that's what I meant by trigger warning.
Oh, what? I mean, I don't know. What is there a trigger? I didn't know that would be a trigger.
I think, yes, there's a thing, where people like to give trigger warnings. For some people who've been affected by suicide, sometimes people give them hey, there's an upcoming trigger warning here, folks.
Oh, I don't know. I've never heard of a trigger warning. But anyways, that's where you threw me off.
We can discuss that later.
But yeah, no, that's what she did. I mean, I didn't see that part of the video. There were other people kind of making mashups of her video where they kind of left that part out. But you could see that's what was going on. The lead up to it. I mean, she's live streaming this.
Yeah.
She successfully committed suicide on a live stream. I mean, that's terrible.
I think she was like 14 too, or something.
She's 12. She was 12.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
So I'm just saying that when they started doing that live video thing, that they left open a window to graphic, terrible stuff that probably shouldn't be an open window. I bet these are all things that would normally violate the community standards of Facebook. But how can you maintain a community standard when nobody's sitting and monitoring at the network like they do for the FCC with a 7-minute delay or a 7-second delay? I mean, so that's problematic. But anyway, we've exceeded our time. I'm convinced that the computer program I'm trying to work with is indeed possessed. Wait a minute. It says file. Okay, so now it's saying the file might be invalid. So let me see what that's about. Because I got to figure this out while we're on. Might as well. Been here this long now. I don't want to leave the audience hanging for whoever's here. It's probably just me and you at this point.
I'm not even really here.
So I'm going to tell it to open. Let's see if it'll do it. Because then I can at least end the show right. Do-do-do-do-do. Mana-mana. Do-do-do-do. Mana-mana. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. It's not doing shit. What's it doing? What? You hear that noise?
Yes, I do. Something.
So let me do this. I do this again. And let's do this, and let's do this. It used to let you switch. The new Windows doesn't let you switch to a different program. It just all it gives you is the end task function. I don't want to do that.
Put that nasty update on there yesterday.
It's making a noise like it wants me to do something first, and I can't see what it wants me to do. So there's that. Now I think a file. See, it's just, when I click the file thing, it just says, it's like it's displaying something else. It wants me to see something else, but there is nothing else that I can see. Hang on, maybe there's something I don't know about. That is really weird. Weirdness. Well, I'm telling you, it's just, that's the only thing that's all that's left. That's all that comes to mind. I've been pushing that button for 45 minutes or more, maybe an hour now.
Maybe you're not pushing it the right way.
It's the definition of crazy. I keep doing the same thing and expecting some kind of different result.
Stop it.
I can't help it. I've been doing that. You just couldn't hear it before. Now it wants to pretend like, hey, it's like it's asking me a question, but I can't see the question. It is. I need to get somebody over here doing incantation on this stupid box. Get whatever evil spirit is dwelling inside of that box, it needs to go back from whence it came.
Mm-hmm.
So is there? I know what I could do is a quick alternate. We could leave people with a taste of the Friday show. Can we do that?
All right, let's do it.
Would it be easy enough? And then you can go back to
I think so.
You can go back to your now terribly inhibited life because you had to stay on the show for an extra
I'm gonna go eat some dinner.
Is it? It's not going to be meat related, right?
Definitely not.
Definitely not. Okay, so where's the thing I was going to play? I can't even find it now. Oh, here, wait a minute. Do 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 do. Oh, I'm giving it away. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Oh, don't make me do that. Hold on. Is it going to do it? There we go. See, it's wants me to do that. It's what they're getting risky on the YouTube ads. Let's take a minute and 45-second ad. So we're gonna end the show with the match game theme. Should we do a question? No question.
I don't care. Who do we have to play with?
There is nobody to play with. Just ourselves. It's just you.
There you go.
Just
give
you
an example,
and
I'll answer it.
What? Yeah. So the question is. So should we want a first round question or a third round question? What do you want? What are you trying to get?
Give me the hardest question first.
The hardest question? All right.
Yeah, I don't care. Just pick a round.
You want to really?
I'll do a round.
Well, okay. So I guess
no one to match.
All right.
No one to match. This is almost ignorant.
Well, do you want the easy version, like the short version, or do you want the longer question version?
Longer question.
The longer question. All right. Stoner Sally is so stoned. How stoned is she?
How stoned is she?
Stoner Sally is so stoned, she went to court for a traffic ticket and pled blank. Are you done with your answer yet? No?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Stoner Sally is so stoned, she went to court for a traffic ticket and pled blank. Wendy, what are you going to say?
High. She pled high.
She pled high. And you know what I did? I did do what you said earlier, is to go watch the match game. And before I told you that that's the only song theme that they got. They don't. So there's that main theme, and then there's an actual theme that they play for the thinking music kind of thing. That's it's just a mini version of that. Like it's the same song, but with like less instruments. There's just a bass guitar and a rhythm guitar, and that's all they play.
I gotcha.
And then there's no horns. And then and there's no horns and there's no tambourine. I think there's a keyboard in there too that disappears. But then there's a buzzer, and there's a right buzzer and a wrong buzzer. So if you match somebody, you get a ding, and if you don't match them, you get a bzzz. So
maybe we can use the bells that's on the counter when we go do our show, because we're going to need a ding.
Well, we are going to need a ding when they match. So the judge will have to operate the ding. He'll have to operate the ding and the buzzer. But maybe we should make it funny. Maybe we make the buzzer an air horn.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That'd be funny.
So we got to do something to jazz it up. So that's what we're going to do.
So you actually watched the show. What else did you learn about the show from watching it?
No, that was it. I was just telling you that there was some.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I don't know if you ever watched the match game. We're going to do marijuana match game out on Friday. This Friday, locally here in Michigan, in Flint, at the Vehicle City Social Club. They're at Comer and what's the crossroad?
Genesee, Richfield.
Yeah, Comer and Richfield. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So, wait a minute. Now, will it let me do it now? It might let me do it. Oh, Wendy, we might have outlasted the bug. Let me see. Oh, it wants to. No. Hang on. File. Open. Is it going to let me open it? It maybe it just needs a reboot. I'll bet you we get off the air. It's just going to say, Steve, it would have been fine if you just rebooted. It would have been all right.
A long time ago.
All right. Yep, right. Live in line. Bye, folks.
Bye.